have tried to finish this video, but the last part of it is the hardest for me to talk about, so I'm just gonna go for it and remember where I left off. I think I talked about how I had certain desires in me that were completely removed. I used to, and this wasn't like a conscious, I'm gonna try and be like Jesus, or I'm gonna try and be perfect and reject the world. It happened naturally and immediately and subconsciously. I used to identify as bisexual. Like I said about the scrolling through certain graphic images on the internet, it was like nothing to me before, and I wanted no part of it suddenly. Like, of course that stopped when I had deleted that account I mentioned, but things like that, smut, it left such a bad taste in my mouth, in my mind, that I never wanted to look back. I had no desire to smoke or change my mind state anymore. I still hadn't gotten high or anything like that. And that brings us to current times. So, about 3 days ago, I still have back pain from this. I'm in currently physical pain because of this experience I'm about to try to recount. I have a few people that I need to talk to about this, including my soon-to-be father-in-law, the pastor I told you about. I asked him to pray for me because what I'm about to recall and remember, and Lord, give me strength to tell this story because it is so traumatic. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I will just, I'll share as many details as I can, but I might mention the word lies. I might just embed that a lot because I'm still in a very vulnerable state where I'm discerning the difference between what I heard and felt that day and what is true. God is true, and the truth is I am safe. I am a child of God. Okay. So about 3 days ago, I mentioned something. It's inconsequential, the conversation I had with my fiance. Suffice to say, it was a very touchy, sensitive topic for us, for our family. We were not arguing or anything like that. We're blessed to have very good communication, and we never let things fester, but this specifically is a very sore spot for us, and it was maybe 3 sentences exchanged between the two of us, and it was literally a moment. But I, rather than approaching the topic with sensitivity and maybe biting my tongue and waiting until I was not in the heat of it, like the emotion, I was having an emotional reaction, and I let it out I didn't censor it or anything. And I must have forgotten how sensitive it was because he, of course, responded emotionally. It was not an attack on me or anything like that. It wasn't at him. It was just insensitive, inappropriate way of discussing it, probably. So I immediately shut down, hated myself, could not believe that I brought it up like that. I had been telling myself, to bring it up in a different way, or I had been mentally, wanting to talk to him about this, but to avoid his pain, and I saw it in his face. And I hated myself for doing that to him. I hated myself immediately with the hate of 1,000 armies. Like, that if you just get a bunch of armies and you sit them down and tell them, look at this person and hate them. Just hate them in your heart. Like, I don't know. Like, you can't fathom the amount of hatred that I had for myself. So I shut down completely mentally. I turned myself off. I was done. I hated myself so much. I decided I needed to punish myself. I decided I didn't deserve anything in that moment. I decided I was going to take myself out, basically, like, mentally. Like, I can't explain it because it wasn't a long conscious thought. I didn't think it in thoughts or words. It was just a flash, not even a minute or a moment. I didn't say a word. I knew what I had to do, or what I thought I had to do. I knew what the next step was. I went to the bathroom. I didn't say anything. Very calmly, carefully broke apart my razor like I had done dozens of times before since I was 12, whatever. Broke each blade apart, cleaned it, pulled my pants down to my knees and just carefully inflicted pain upon myself. This time it wasn't for blood. Sometimes it was, but this time it wasn't. I did about 6 2 or 3 inch long cuts. Like, I hardly broke the skin, but the point was the pain. The pain was, I wanted a consistent stream of pain in my body, and I knew what I was doing. I was giving up. I mentally chucked it all out the window. Everything I had been opening my heart to and learning about God and Jesus, the Bible, all of that, I can't describe it in words, but suddenly in my heart, I rejected it all. I said, F your temple, before in my mind, I started to cut myself. And I just felt pain and pain and pain and pain and heard, you deserve this, things like that. Honestly, the rest is a blur. I ended up out on our patio in our, closet where we keep the washer and dryer machine. I wanted to hide and disappear. I wanted to be gone. One note I forgot to mention originally, when I went outside and hid in the closet, I took a vape with me, like with the weed or the similar stuff, despite a promise that I had literally made a little while back. The last time that I used it, I felt really anxious, and I asked God, Jesus, to please take it away. And I said, I will never do it again. If you please give me peace of mind right now, I promise I'll never do it again. And I took it outside after what I did to my body, and I tried it. Luckily, thankfully, it was so old, there was nothing left in there. There was nothing to use, basically. So it didn't work when I tried it. And I think if I had, it would have been way more devastating for my mental state or my spiritual state. I wanted to be obliterated, wiped. No one could see me. I did not want anyone to see me anymore. I wanted to be what I deserved, which was dead. So I was hiding. I had my hands and my knees as small as I could make myself. And my fiance found me. He came out, tried talking to me. I told him I wanted to disappear. I shouldn't, things like that. I don't remember. Next thing I know, I'm in our room on the edge of the bed trying to like see. I can't really explain it. I don't remember this. Like, as a person, I don't remember this stuff happening, but I watched it and I know it happened and I felt it all. I don't know what I was saying to myself, but I was sitting on the edge of the bed. He had the baby. My son was playing somewhere, and you know, life was just going on around me. And I remember these thoughts were coming to me. I allowed them to bloom. They were thoughts of suicide, worthlessness, unworthiness, just futility. Futility of life is what I felt, and my life specifically. No purpose, no meaning, waste, a shame, a splat. I'm a blot. I'm a stain on the universe. Things like that. I'm so sorry for all the cutting of everything. Obviously, my daughter is here with me in the car, and I just only feel okay to talk about this now because somebody must be praying for me, like, at this moment. I couldn't bear to think about this yesterday, the day before. So, I'm on the bed, I'm like, I feel myself in like a fog. It's just surrounding me. I'm just being consumed and weighed down, like buried. I feel like I was being buried by atmosphere. Something that has returned since that day is my shortness of breath and anxiety, but it seems to be mostly somatic right now because I feel okay mentally. Just like physically, sometimes I get short of breath. Again, I used to get this. So I'm on the edge of the bed being buried, and there's swarming thoughts. I'm looking around at my room and my daughter's room, like her decorations, her little nursery setup, and her pictures, and I'm not identifying with it, and I'm feeling I'm like waste of time, waste of energy, waste of life, joke, stupid, things like that, like just the worst things. And I couldn't identify that they were not of me, of my own heart. I thought about who I was, and I kind of remember, it was like looking at a memory picture, like a movie reel of all the times in the past month or so when I've been excited to get a Bible, or all the times I watched testimonies and read the verses and learned. And I remember almost like a laughing, like a mock, like how stupid, like that is so, like how small, how ridiculous, none of that matters, like things like that. My life, like who I am, was needed to be smothered out. And that's exactly what I called for. That was the exact thing I said I desired with my mouth and my actions. So I'm on the edge of the bed, just being consumed. And I tried to call out to my fiance, but I think he thought I was just mad or upset and needed some time, and he was just sitting on the couch. He was maybe 10 feet away, but he couldn't see me. And I remember trying to call out to him, and then suddenly I just couldn't move anymore, and I fell to the floor, and I fell on my face. In my face, I could feel it right here, burning into the carpet. Like, we have this rug, and I could feel, I wasn't just on my face, like I was like this, my whole weight of my body was on my face, and I could not move, and I was like hunched over. I just fell, like if you pass out or faint. And I didn't faint. My eyes were open. I could see my hair in my face. I could hear everything, but I was not present. And the thoughts just kept coming. This lasted for God knows how long, way too long. I can't tell you the terror that I felt. I felt terrible. I felt more fear than I had ever felt in my life. I felt like I was being sucked away. The little bit of autonomy that I had was slowly being drained from me. It was depleting quickly, rapidly, like moment to moment. Like I only had moments of life left. That's how it felt. The thoughts eventually took over me. I know there was a point that I got up somehow, and my fiance had come to the room. He thought I was messing around. He thought I was being dramatic. The baby was very fussy for whatever reason. We had all been sick, so she was probably still feeling sick. I don't know. She was uncomfortable, and he was very stressed. He legitimately thought I was messing around, at least initially. He's like, come on, like, get up. What are you doing? Please stop this. You can get up. I couldn't even talk. I could not talk. I could not move. I couldn't see. I don't know how to explain that because my eyes were open and I could perceive everything that was happening. I saw him walk across. He moved the hair from my face because he had the baby in his hand and he couldn't do much. He couldn't pick me up, although he tried. I could not see or talk. And then, as I'm laying there, it was like, there was like a double-sidedness to it all. So the majority, I would say like 90% of what was happening, what I felt, was not me, right? It was the smothering. It was the cloud of blackness. It was like a cloud, like a fog, like something surrounding me. And I could just hear these thoughts and words. I do remember now the last thing I said before I fell, because I kept hearing it. All started with, you mentally unstable bee. You'll always be mentally unstable. Dumb bee. Stupid. Mentally unstable. And then I fell. So I kept hearing that. But it obviously devolved. It evolved into something worse. And it was, you're a waste. This whole thing is a waste. Everything is a waste. And I kept having flashes of me being happy. Me talking to people on the internet and being happy and learning about God. All of those flashes came to me, and it was like a laughing reel. It was like something to just marvel and laugh at. It was like a joke. It was like so stupid. Like, can you believe her? It was like that. It was like, can you believe this? And it wasn't me because I didn't even know. And I'm there kind of wrestling with this. Like, I thought that was good. Oh my gosh. And I felt so stupid. I felt like I was wrong. So I'm wrestling with this, like, my consciousness. I'm like trapped in a mind space, basically. And I'm there just dying out. And I'm feeling like, I thought all of that was good. I thought that was right. What happened? Like, that was wrong. All of the things I've been doing in my life are wrong, and there's no purpose. So, if you want to know what I saw and felt, it looked just like this. I'm not exaggerating. And that was probably me. So, anyways, the thoughts were overwhelming. I was hearing these words. All the while, my fiance was concerned, frantically concerned, did not know what to do. I could see him, I could hear him, and I could not communicate with him for reasons. And his instinct was not, pray or whatever. His instinct was just real life. This is happening. We're human and she needs my help. I could hear frustration in his voice. I could hear desperation in his voice. he also had to take care of the kids. My son almost saw, he said, he almost saw you. Come on, get up. Like things like that he would tell me. So the double-sidedness had mostly darkness, and the other side was like my consciousness kind of fighting. I was fighting, I guess, because I was trying to remember like power, strength, like what? Like I couldn't think, nothing was coherent. But I had to remember a song I had been listening to, Who Am I by Casting Crowns. I must have listened to that song 39 times just that day. I was cleaning the entire house and I just played that song over and over because I liked it, and that's kind of where I was mentally. So I whispered. I was hoping it would work, and I don't think it did, but maybe it did. I'm sorry. I just mean I wasn't strong enough. I was not. I was far from God. I couldn't find him. I could not feel him. I felt like I was on the opposite end of the world from him. I felt like it wasn't just far. I felt like I was on the flip side of him, and everything good. So I remember whispering, Jesus. I whispered Jesus one time. It's all I could get out. I could not speak. I could not form a strong word. I could not yell. I wanted to say, it strong and bold and fearlessly, but I couldn't because I was terrorized. So I whispered Jesus one time. I think that made whatever was in me angry, because I said, God, I am yours. That's what the song says. Who am I? I am yours. And all I could say, I said that twice on different occasions. I said, God, I am yours. But it wasn't enough, I don't think. So, I remember a few times my fiance came in and he was very frustrated. And a lot of this wasn't me, so I started talking and saying things when he would come in. But these were not my true feelings. These were not feelings from my heart. These were not my beliefs. These weren't my words. But I said things like, you're so angry. I love it. I know now this was a spirit. This was an evil spirit, a demon. I love it. You're so angry. I remember he walked away at one point. He was frustrated. He walked away for something. And I remember smiling and laughing and saying, see, he hates you. You see? He hates you. And when he came in, he was so hurt in his face and he was so upset and frustrated. And I said, you're so angry. I love it. Leave her. Just leave. Just leave. Just go. And he sat down and said, why are you telling me this? Why? Why are you telling me to go? And then I came out and I said, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I started sobbing. No, he doesn't. He doesn't hate me, right? He doesn't hate me. And then I somehow remembered I had read from this girl's blog that I like to read. She said that everybody is assigned an angel at birth for protection. And I thought, where's my angel? Do I have an angel? Is that who's fighting for me? Is anyone fighting for me? Where is God? And when I thought that, I remember, you can believe me or not, I remember seeing like a sky, like in this mist, I saw far away, just the most like cliche shape, like stereotypical shape of an angel, with like a trumpet and wings, like that silhouette of a side portrait of an angel, like going this way. And then I saw these two winged things, like just black little, they look like insects, far off, carrying my essence, my soul, carrying me away. And I remember hearing and saying, this one was always mine. This one was always mine. And I said, don't take me. Don't take me. I said, don't take me. I must have said that like 4 times. And my fiance is like, what is happening? And he's got the baby screaming, mind you. The baby is screaming. So he can only be of so much help to me. I feel like the screaming, crying baby in his arms, and he's fearful, and the kids, were there. So he didn't know what to do, and I wasn't moving. So he put our baby on top of me, thinking, it would bring me back. I was just crying, saying, don't take me. He laid the baby on me, and I kind of looked, and I could see, again, but then I felt this anger come over me. And the baby's, she kept her head like in my clothes, so her face was covered. And I'm not going to tell you the thoughts that I had. They were not my thoughts, but they were horrible thoughts. Horrible thoughts that only a demon from hell would think about a baby's cries. And instinctively he moved her. He moved her. Because I wasn't moving. I had so much indifference in me. I did not care that she was on me. But somewhere in my heart, I was reaching out and I was saying thank you to him, and thank you for trying, and thank you for giving me my baby. But also, I'm glad that he moved her. So I kind of came to in a moment there, and I think I got up. He had set her down after he moved her, and she was wailing. She was hungry. I remember he needed to make her a bottle, and he was like, I have to feed the baby. He told me, Jenna, I have to feed the baby. Okay? And she just started wailing, and that shrieking cry was the complete opposite of the feelings that I had just heard when she was on top of me crying. And my mother's instincts must have been triggered, because I heard her screaming, and I ran to her, and I sat down, and I just put my body on her, and I just said, Mama's here. And within an instant, I was sitting back up, and this is why my back hurt so much. I started to spaz out, like my body was moving spastically. I was so tense. It was like I was one of those like beach chairs, like that just go up, like they fold, I was like that. Like I just kept that, and I felt something in the back of my neck. I feel it still. It's been 3 days, and I've had nonstop like heating pad and medicine. I was like jittering. I felt my eyes fluttering, so I couldn't see a single thing. They wouldn't stop. They were like doing that thing. I wasn't just blinking. They were like, I don't know what they were doing. And so I couldn't see. I still knew what was happening. I started looking around. We have a special painting in our room that my honey and I both made together. It's like a beautiful picture. We did it together, and our daughter loves looking at it. It's our love picture. It's special. I really thought that will help me. So I was staring at it, and I could not identify with anything in the room. I was so annoyed by everything in the room. The picture meant nothing to me. It might as well have been a piece of brown grass thrown on the sidewalk, like ripped up from the ground and just thrown, completely insignificant. I looked around at the pictures we had of us with our baby, and I felt disdain. I felt disgusted. I saw the decorations and little twinkle lights that I set up for her with her name and flowers, and it was rotten. It looked rotten to me. Despicable. It looked like such a waste of a life and energy. Like, look how puny, look how meaningless all of this is, and not like in a, why did you spend money on that? You know, like, you could do something better. It was, I wanted to destroy it all. I wanted it all to burn up in flames in front of me. Like, I would have been happy if it had all turned to mush. So I was looking around, feeling nothing but disgust, contempt. And he's looking at me, my husband or my fiance is looking at me, telling me, he said something like, you're not gonna trick me. He said, you're not possessed by a demon. You can't trick me. And I was like, oh, now I have your attention. And of course, this wasn't me. But I'll just say me because it makes more sense that way in this, world. So we talked for a little, like a second or two. He's trying to remind me good things. We have a daughter. We have a family. He says, we are a family. And I said, so? And he said, we love each other. I said, so? So what? And he said, we have a family, we have a life together. And I said, okay. We're building a life with something. He's telling me things like this. And I said, okay, for what? Okay, and I was just being so ugly. And then again, I felt like an attack. I felt like an assault again on my spirit. It was like, watch her, basically, watch her. Said, she asked for this. She wanted this. I said that out loud. I said, she wanted this. Because I asked for this. I asked to be wiped. I asked to be wiped out. I asked for that. Like, I committed a sin in my heart and to my body, inviting that suicidal spirit and disdain for life into me, and I let it take over, and it was trying to take over. And it said, and every time he would say my name, I would say, no more. I said, it's over. After we talked, then later that night, he told me, why did you tell me it was over? Like breaking up type of, it's over. And I didn't realize what he meant, but I'm thinking now, what I meant when I said that was, her life is over. Like, this is all over. Like, she is over. He would say my name and I would say, no more. No. It was so stupid of him to even say that name. She's gone. And she asked for this. Every time he would get mad, frustrated, really, exasperated, I would laugh. But then there was another moment that came, I guess, where it was me. And I said, love, love, love. I couldn't even say Jesus' name. I was trying to think of Jesus' name, but I have to tell you the truth. And the truth is, I didn't think he would do it. I didn't think he would say it. I didn't think he would pray. I wanted to ask him to pray for me, but I didn't think it would work. Because I really didn't think, I don't know. I still don't know what the rules are for this thing. One moment. So even though somewhere in my heart I believed that Jesus and God's name would bring me out of this, I was buying into the lie that there was no hope. On a human level, I guess I was just saying, he doesn't believe and it won't work. And the demons were saying, give up. Just give up. He's given up on you. He hates you. He doesn't care. He's not going to try it. He's not going to do it. He can't do it. So I didn't even bother asking. When I could talk, I didn't even try. I didn't even ask him. And I should have just asked him to pray. Because I think he would have, of course, I think he would have prayed. He had said, "I love you," to me at one point, and that really made me feel something inside. So, the next time he said it, I tried to, like, communicate to him, like, yes, please, again. When he said love, I was thinking of Jesus and love itself, of course, love itself, because, you know, God is love. Everything that is good is God. So, we're on the little couch in our room, and he was wrestling with this whole, he had said a few times, like, this isn't happening. This is not happening. This isn't real. I need you right now. He was telling me, I need you. Come back. Come back. And you know how bad I wanted to come back. I couldn't come back. I was almost gone. And the fact that he didn't believe what was happening, I love you, honey, if you watch this, but the fact that he didn't believe me only buried me further down. It made me feel more hopeless, because the one person here capable of helping me doesn't recognize what's happening to me anyway. He kissed me, and I felt this, like, rush of light through my body, like a bolt, like I was shocked electrically or something. I felt it from the very top of my hair on my head all the way to my toes, like in a line, like zzz, like an energy went through. And I said, love, you have to love me, you have to love me. And he was like, he didn't know what to do, so he kissed me like 10 times in a row. He says, I love you, come back to me, come back. And I was holding on. I was reaching so far for him, and I finally came out of it. I'm not gonna say that delivered me, though. It did bring me back. As soon as I immediately tried, he asked me, like, I tried to tell him what was going on in my mind, but as soon as I spoke, like, I'm recounting this whole thing perfectly fine, the details and everything, but immediately following, I just said one thing, like dumb, mentally unstable. As soon as I said those words again, it felt like I was taken over again, because I got like this nasty look on my face. I know I was looking at he let my son come in and told him to give me a hug to try and help me. And I remember thinking, how low, and I was so mad. I was like, you bring this kid in here? And it wasn't like, Mom, you know, it wasn't me. It was nasty inside of me, saying, like, how could you even think that or do that? Why would you bring that? That was the nastiest thing to me, were the children. And I hate to say that, but it wasn't me. I know it wasn't me, because I love my babies. My babies are everything to me, and I love that I've given them life, and I take care of them, and I would lay my life down for them in a heartbeat. They're everything. They're perfect, innocent, pure, made in God's love. They were made from love, and they're perfect. But in that moment, they were the most hideous thing to me. I realize now that was only a source of evil. Pure, putrid evil could feel that, only, not me. But I remember just, like, the faces that I was making. I was looking at him while my son hugged me, and I was so angry. I wanted to, like, table flip them. I wanted to get them all away from me. And he sent my son out of the room immediately. And all I could think was, my Bible. I gotta get the Bible, because this man's not gonna help me. Like, I'm sorry, honey. I love you. If you're watching this, I love you. and you did help me, but I'm talking about deliverance. I was just thinking Bible. Couldn't even get to my Bible, and it's not like it was in a hard to reach spot. It was on my desk in a little like book bag, open top little bag. But I had this mini concordance that I found like at a thrift store. It's like mini, like that wide, like 3x3 and this thick, just with daily devotionals, like 365. And I read it every now and then because it has a verse and like a paragraph. And I just opened it, and I wish I could show the ones that I found, but they were perfect. And then I remember looking at God, the word God, and I just stared at it, and I read something, and I read Jesus Christ. I said a few things out loud, and I felt calm, and I felt relieved. And my son was trying to get my attention. He wanted me to tuck him in for bed and read him a book or like tell him a story. And I was like trying to be calm because I was like in so much pain and like freaking out still mentally. I was like, am I here? Am I okay? Can I be around the kids? Like, this was all going on. And my fiance was just following me with the baby. You know, everything was okay. And he's just watching me because I still wasn't back to normal, but I was like seemed normal, and I was normal, and I'm okay. From this point on, I was okay. I told my son, please read this. We're going to read this. And he just read one sentence. God's plan or mine? God's mission or mine? And he goes, I don't want to read this. Because he wanted me to tell him a story. And I said, I'll be right back. I went to the bathroom. I stared at those pages. I just stared at the words. Like, I could hardly perceive them, but I just read them anyway. I don't even remember, just focused on Jesus Christ, I'm delivered, things like that. And I got on my knees in the corner, and I just prayed. I said, Father, I'm so sorry. I said, Father, please forgive me, Father. Please, Father, please forgive me. I had no more words except just, I'm sorry. I didn't even ask him to save me or anything. I just said, please forgive me, because I know what I had done. I knew what I had done. I knew what I had summoned. I summoned death on myself. I asked for death on myself. And this is something that I had carried with me since I was a kid. So it grew so powerful. And as soon as I let it in the moment, it almost overtook me. So I was in the corner. I said, please, Father, forgive me, Father. I'm so sorry, Father. I'm here, Father. Please hear me. And I read a page. I held it, and I went back to my son. I read The Giving Tree as calmly as I could. But I would look over. I was reading the book, but I had my concordance to the left of it, and I would look at it. I think it's called a concordance. I don't remember. It was some pocket thing, like a devotional, and I would read that and then read the book out loud. And then after bedtime, we tried to talk about it, but we were just exhausted, my fiance and I. He just held me. We were just glad that it was over. He told me, you came back, you're okay. He did say, this is your body. He said, this is your body. He said my name. No one else's. No one else has control. Only you have control. You have full control. And I didn't feel like I had full control, but I felt like I had it again. I was getting control and starting to identify again with myself and the room and the things and my memories. And I told him, I'll be back in a few minutes. That little leaflet, the new birth that I had gotten, the literature packet that came with the Bible my grandma gave me, it had a prayer on the very last page called the Sinner's Prayer, and I was very familiar. I knew exactly what it said, but I couldn't bring myself to read it in all those weeks that I had it. I couldn't even look at it because I was afraid. We had a whole night one night where I couldn't even fathom that Jesus would accept me. I couldn't understand it. I was like, how can God love? How? It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm not even gonna ask, basically, because I'm too afraid that I'm not gonna be granted the salvation. And what he told me that night was, it's good news, and he will save you. And so I went into the bathroom with the prayer, and I read it. I had never read it before, and I spoke it out loud. And the verse said, anyone who comes to me, I will not cast out. And I was just crying, tears flowing, and I just said, I know I am saved. I know I am saved by Jesus Christ. I am saved. Thank you. Things like that. So I prayed, and I just I could picture my soul being taken away, and I knew the price, and I knew the cost of my sin. I knew it was my soul. It wasn't just my life. It was my soul. And I wanted so badly to just give it to somebody who could take care of it. So I asked Jesus to save me. I asked him to please come into my heart and please let me know him. Please help me know him. And I still haven't really, I don't know about all this stuff, but I know that someone bigger than me had to come and intervene. And I was so afraid to go to sleep that night. I thought that it was going to get me in my sleep. I thought I was going to die in my sleep. I thought I was going to die. I was so scared of that. So that's why I said the prayer. And I said, I will not toy with sin again. I will not. And I told him, I'm so sorry. I promise to be a servant to you. I will do what you ask. Just please save me. I said, please save me. And I talked to my fiance a little bit more before we fell asleep. I told him I'm scared to go to sleep. And I asked him if, because we have a baby, I asked him if, we're not married. We can't go get married tomorrow. It's the weekend, I basically asked him, like, what is it? Are we sinning? Are we fornicators? And he said that he will marry me as soon as possible, whatever. But that in the Bible, it's a union, and, we're committed to each other. And he put my mind at ease. And I really feel grateful for him because he helped me navigate a lot of this stuff, a lot of my newfound faith and my questions. And he's just doing it from a really good place, even though he may or may not believe any of it anymore. I don't know what he believes, and I'm just grateful to have him. So I've let Jesus into my heart, and I believe God did send his son. I believe he did allow a human man to embody the complete perfection that is God himself, and made that ultimate sacrifice, that beautiful act of love, the ultimate act of love, so that we have a chance, so that we, as imperfect and human as we are, can experience the blessing and the promise, the gift of love from God himself, and not be taken by demons or bad spirits, thoughts, things that plague us. I already feel lifted. I already feel safer today. The following morning, I heard a song. My son wanted to hear a song from God because I told him about God about a week ago. I just felt like I should. I felt my mom was telling me. I can't explain it. I just didn't decide one day. I remember praying for protection over my son, thinking about the state of the world and how can I protect my kids. I begged on my knees, please God, show me. And then my son walked in and I said, sit down, you need to know about God. So he's been learning about God just in a very vague sense of, I just told him God is love, God made everything, God's always with you. Things like a 4-year-old can get. We were listening to More by Matthew West, and he said, I want to hear another song. I want to hear a song from God. And I said, okay. I don't know what song. I don't know Christian songs, but when I was like 12 or 10, I had this Casting Crowns album with Who Am I on it, and also, sorry for the shaking. I looked on Spotify and I saw Voice of Truth, and I thought, that sounds like God, truth. So I clicked on it, and tears immediately started flowing. And I remember that I knew the words to the song because I listened to that album a lot when I was younger. So the words and the memory came back, and I knew the lyrics. And I was sobbing while driving, singing my heart out. My son loved it. He was like, wow, he just loved the new music. And the song is about fear and mockery. And one of the lines is, out of all the voices calling out to me, I will choose to listen and believe the voice of truth. The voice of truth tells me a different story. The voice of truth tells me, do not be afraid. The voice of truth says, this is for my glory. The voice of truth, so God is the voice of truth. And I remember listening to it like 7 times in a row, and I just immediately, I wanted a shirt that said that. I wanted tattoo of it, but not really. Like, I wanted to just tell everyone. I wanted to learn how to play it on guitar. I wanted to sing it. I wanted to be in church. I wanted them to play it. That's what I felt. I felt like I had found it. I felt like I had found that. And I will tell you the truth. I did not believe it. I still am working on believing in it. Truth, like God and truth being one and the same. It's really hard, especially in this world, and especially with my life, my past. But that's what I'm working on, and that's why I've reached out to family members who have a stronger faith than me. But I know in the Bible it says, even if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, then that's okay. So I'm starting there, and I'm really leaning on people who are very strongly connected to God, and asking for their prayer on my behalf. So if anyone watching this, lean on people around you. Look for the lamp lights, lamp posts, the lamp stands around you. Learn from them. Hell and demons, the devil, evil, it's all real. Moral relativity is crap. The New Age movement is dangerous. Science is one thing, but when science tries to explain spiritual, it's very dangerous. God is the one and only, and He is not the universe. He made the universe. He is bigger than the universe, and He's bigger than Satan, and He is so much stronger. Today I've said to these demons and to these entities, I can't see them anymore, thankfully, or feel them. I don't feel them, but I know somewhere someone is plagued by them, and I tell them, you have no power. You are nothing. You are nothing. I am made perfectly in God's image. I am made of love. I am made from love. I am a child of God, and you have no power. You cannot win. You cannot win. I don't have much else to say. If you watched all of this, thank you, and I hope it helps just one person. Even if it's someone in my family who I showed this to, I hope it enlightens you in some way and strengthens any kind of faith that you have in your Father, our Creator, God, Yahweh, and His Son, Jesus Christ. By His blood, by His perfect, innocent love and blood sacrifice, we are saved. We have life again. Thank you.